Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison is suspended for the first 3 games of the season. And do the Vikings need to hit the panic button at wide receiver? Let's talk about it. The Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison, who is their first round pick in the 2023 NFL draft, has been suspended for the first 3 games of the 2025 season. And he told the Star Tribune's Beck Esslin that he will not be appealing and instead taking his punishment and getting it behind him. It was something he alluded to at the very beginning of training camp when he spoke for the first time publicly about this. And it puts the Vikings in an interesting spot because you have Justin Jefferson, who has not returned yet to the practice field. He will be back for week 1. But then after him, it's Jalen Nailor. And then your wide receiver 4 is Lucky Jackson. Is this something where the Vikings can feel comfortable with not having Jordan Addison for 3 games? That's a really big question. And some have even called for the Vikings to sign a free agent or even make a trade. Adam Thielen continues to come up as his roster spot with the Carolina Panthers feels, well, lackluster at best because of what their receiving room looks like. Then there's also Amari Cooper, who's a free agent. And do the Vikings try to bring him in? There are a lot of different elements to this Vikings wide receiver room, but the reality here is this. They don't need to do anything. And it has nothing to do with the wide receiver room. You can just look back at weeks 2 and 3 last year, where the Vikings honestly manhandled the San Francisco 49ers, even though the final score is 23-17, and they whipped the Houston Texans into oblivion 34-7 the following week. What was the common theme with those 2 games? No Jordan Addison. As you remember, he was dealing with an ankle injury suffered in the 3rd quarter of the season opener against the New York Giants. What will they have this year that they didn't last year? Well, for starters, TJ Hawkinson, who was still recovering from the torn ACL suffered Christmas Eve in 2023. The Vikings not having him or Addison really puts it into perspective here, because if they didn't have both of those guys, but they'll have Addison, not to mention Jordan Mason, who should immediately improve the running game, and a much better offensive line on paper, do they really need to make a panic move? Do they have to trade for Adam Thielen or sign Amari Cooper in order to just feel good about the first 3 games when they've already proven that they can do plenty without him? Now, that's not to say that Jordan Addison isn't a valuable piece to this offense. He's incredibly valuable, and what he brings is a tremendous compliment to what Justin Jefferson has. But the reality is they don't have to make a panic move and use the cap space that they have, which is objectively $25.3 million, but they're over $60 million over the cap going into next season. They could do something, and if they do, it's a signal more about Jalen Nailor and the depth outside of the Jordan Addison suspension. If they don't, I think you can feel okay that they're going to make it happen. I'm Tyler Forness with A to Z Sports. Skol Vikings.